up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. Boys and girls, we got a bunch of shit to talk about. We have so much there's drama all over the place. You can mop the floor with it. And then we have predictions that we got to get to because we're going to have this final day coming up here. We've got the final 20 teams all battling out for it. There's like a good chunk of teams that can still make it in. There's a good chunk that probably can't unless they absolutely pop off. But we will see and talk about all of that in just a little bit. But before we get into all of the juicy stuff, let's check in with everybody here. Enoch, how are you feeling, my friend?
I'm tired. I have been going through some unfortunate situations in multiple different areas. The boys have not been performing as well as we could, but I'm confident in our ability to bounce back. We had an especially rough day this Sunday, but lots of lessons learned, and I'm excited for how we'll perform at regionals. And then I also dealt with the fact that my 3090 and my gaming PC died. That was unfortunate. And then, so it was on a single PC, which for whatever reason, I guess my 3070 doesn't perform as well as it should, because apparently, according to Finn, I should be able to get a steady 144, no problems gaming and streaming. But that was not the case for me. And so that was super frustrating. But that's all fixed. That's taken care of. Managed to get that figured out. Shout out E8 for helping me out and getting me in a nice graphics card to sub in for my one that died. And so I tried to look at it as much like it was a very unfortunate situation that I just didn't want to be in, but I did my best to look at it as something that I can just learn and grow from and be thankful that I'm going through what I was going through and learning the things I did, because I know a lot more about how to take in and out graphics cards and PCs, and I'm messing with PCs as a whole, which is an area that I don't know anything about, but I know more now than I did. And it was a lot of being in a situation where I didn't know what to do and doing my best to figure it out with resources that I had available. And so it was kind of rough and wasn't super fun, but we're out on the other side. I'm looking forward to getting back to just big chilling, nice playing, steady 240, and that'll make quality of life on stream a lot easier. And yeah, program launched last week. That's been going really well. And yeah, I'm gonna continue to keep on putting in the work, because I'm building an empire. I'm actually just building an empire, and we're very early on in the empire and in the building stage, but it's building. And so 20 to 30 years from now, I'm gonna be wow, I'm really glad I was doing all of the things that I was doing right now, because I'm empire building, and this is a part of it. This is gonna be huge, the podcast and everything. And so I'm just going to keep on showing up and just keep chipping away at the mountain of a goal that I have set for myself, even if I
get in on the ground
stuff
floor.
That's not so fun. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Get in on the ground floor. Get in now, baby. Hop on the train. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Finn, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Little challenge this week by my dog, and I know that sounds so obnoxious, but trying my best to do potty training, and man, I am tired of cleaning up poop. I'll tell you what, it is annoying, but we're getting there. The date went well.
Let's go. Save it.
No,
save it.
I mean, no,
Heart
that's
to
all
heart,
I'm gonna
heart to
say.
heart.
No, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
That will be my heart to heart. But yeah, that was
the
it.
heart to heart where you're
No,
pouring
that's it.
for
That's it.
everybody to hear.
Wait,
No, but for real,
bro.
that's
For the
it. That was
boys
my
to-
week. That's it. Going on another second date on Saturday.
Yeah,
That's it.
That gives
That's it.
you a little bit. That gives you a little bit of. It must have been okay.
Yeah,
for the
win.
second
All
date.
right.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
Dude. I'm pumped. I can't wait to get to this heart to heart.
Why? What about you?
Yeah, my week was absolutely terrible. My hockey team was eliminated from the Stanley Cup Finals, complete opposite of Finn's. And I'm just gonna say this: the NHL got what they wanted. Okay, they got their shiny new toy in Seattle, brand new franchise. They're we can put out so many social media posts if they move on to the next round. So we're just gonna absolutely screw the Colorado Avalanche. Jordan Eberle broke Andrew Cogliano's neck and didn't get suspended. Broke his neck. He may never play again. No suspension. Got to play in Game 7. And there's that. And then also no tripping call on Cale Makar. 8 minutes left in third period in a 1-goal game. Our power play was absolutely dominating them. Not really. It wasn't doing that great. But we did score earlier on the power play, and they just didn't give us another chance. Also, we did tie the game, and it was offsides. I will give the refs that this one was actually offsides. You never really know with the NHL. But I want to jump off a bridge. I wanted to jump off a building.
Whoa.
I'm not used to it. Listen, I love this team too much, bro. I'm fully okay admitting that I care about sports too much. I had to like sit down in a quiet room for like 45 minutes, no noise, no nothing, and just stared at the wall and just thought about all the things that could have went better.
Okay, I have a question.
And they didn't. Yeah.
That I want you to honestly think about.
Yeah.
Do you think it's healthy to allow your emotional state to be that controlled by the actions of these men doing their job?
Not. And I know that. But here's the thing, I have actually gotten a lot better. Believe it or not. I don't even want to say some of the things that I've done in the past when like my teams lose, because it's really embarrassing.
No.
But I have gotten way better. Like I've actually gotten way better. This was, out of all of the losses I've had to take, this one was heartbreaking. And all I did that was like over the line was my best friend texted me and said heartbreaking, and I took it as a slight, so I immediately blocked his phone number. Like I immediately blocked him. I was like, okay, you're gonna come at me like that, and I blocked him. And then I saw him later that night, and he was like, I was like, so you're gonna text me that, huh? And he was like, no, dude, like I was like, I was rooting for you guys, and I was just sad. And I was like, well, I didn't read it that way. Like that's how mad I was.
Oh my gosh,
I was like, absolutely
so
fuming.
bad.
So I still haven't unblocked him yet.
You haven't? Okay, that was gonna be my follow up. I was like, is he still blocked? You have,
but that's just straight up because I forgot.
Okay, for sure.
I totally forgot. Yeah. So to answer your question, I fully understand that it is absolutely asinine to act that way over sports, but I have gotten way better, like way, way, way better, and I will continue to get better. But this one definitely hurt. Good job, NHL. You got your little fancy new franchise. They're gonna get beat up by Dallas. I already know that it's happening.
Hold on.
So,
I need you to know that if I'm like super invested in the Hogs, sometimes I also get super upset.
Dude, it gets you sometimes, but to me, it gets too much to me. And there are things that I have to fix. There are things that definitely, I will say, I think the thing that ended up helping me the most was seeing them win a championship, because it's like whenever I'm feeling really down about it, at least I can go look up those videos of like them winning. That helps. But yeah, so not a great week, but yeah, I'm bouncing back. I'm doing good. But you want to know what makes it even better to have a bad week is knowing that ALGS action is there for me at the end of the day, and I can go back and watch all of that. And we had a bunch of that. We had day 8 and day 9 that we got to talk about here. Now, listen, there's a lot of action here. We're not going to go through every single match, every single day like we normally do, because we had back-to-back days. But we are going to go through the big storylines through both of those days, and I will go through the standings from each of those days right now. Let's start off with day 8. Number 1, TSM finally continuously has a good day all the way through. They're able to win day 8. They get first, second place here. Looks like we got the Lanimals right there in second place. One of the greatest performances. I will talk about that in a moment. Greatest second place performance I've ever seen. Furia, third place. Luminosity at fourth. And Native Gaming at fifth. The winners of all of those matches, Furia won match 1. Match 2 went to Oxygen Gaming. Match 3 went to TSM. 4 went to Native Gaming. 5 went to Furia. And 6 went to Xset. They're always there somehow. They are always there somehow. So that rounded out day 8. And then in day 9, Glitch Energy takes the win. Optic Gaming is right behind them with Furia at third. Tripods, We got to talk tripods, baby. They were at 4th, and then Oxygen Gaming back-to-back decent days. The winner of all of those matches. Tripods gets their first ever win in the ALGS. It was inspiring. It was awesome. Furia in round 2, they won that one. Round 3, it went back-to-back, 3 and 4. Glitch Gaming won both of those games, with Furia rounding it out in 5th. And to finish off the day, Xset, once again, you always got to mention them at some point during the day. They win the last match of the day. Now, going into the final, for anybody confused about how this is going to work out, in NA, there are 30 teams. Right now, 10 of those teams have been downgraded to championship last chance qualifiers. Okay, so they're not going to play in the final. The top 20 teams from this split are going to play in the final, with the top 11 going to LAN. So that's how it's going to work here.
That's also known as regionals. Finals is, yeah. No, you're good. No, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing, but people sometimes use it interchangeably, just so people know. If we say regionals or we say finals, those are the same things.
That's actually a very good call. It just says final on here. But yeah, so some of the teams who barely made it in, we had Drug Free and we had Native Gaming. E8 is still alive. They're sitting right there at 18th. And then we have an absolute, like, just there's a lot of teams sitting right here who are, it's going to be close for some of these teams. If you're looking at just the 9th spot down to, I would say, the 14th spot where Lanimals is, here's how the points go: 72, 72, 71, 71, 70, 68. There's going to be a few of those teams who get left out, and it's going to be a tough loss for any of those. But let's start off. We'll get into our predictions and going into the regional later on. Let's just go through the storylines from day 8 and 9. Anything that stood out to you guys from those 2 days, let's get it.
TSM finally has like a day that, granted, they only had one game where they finished in the top 6. The top 4. They had because I guess technically their fourth game they did well. They had a 5th place with 4 kills, but that first place with 19 kills is up there with the highest that's ever been in 1 point. Yeah, I don't know if it's a new record, but
on this show's taping history, that's a record.
Is it?
I don't think anybody's gotten above 17. I think NRG had a 17 last split.
I was gonna say it was either that or I knew Luminosity had a banger as well, so I didn't know. But at least for like during the splits, I don't think I've seen anything with a 19. I mean, that put them in a firm first place, but they tried their hardest to try and throw it to Wyatt's favorite team of all time, the Lanimals, which I think this would be a perfect time to go in that. I'll say this my final thoughts about TSM and E, if you have anything as well. For TSM, they finally, like, this is what every single TSM fan was wanting. Every single LAN that are fans of the LANs, not Lanimals, but LANs, like, in person Apex Legends, was happy to see TSM have a strong day and get 25 points to their overall total, which puts them now in 8th place. So not 100% secure, but they're, I think, at an 80% chance or 85% chance to make it to LAN from this point on. But that was my first and my major storyline, I think, from day 8.
Yeah, I can get into Lanimals real quick. I only watched the Lanimal stream. I didn't have the main stream up at all. I wanted to be completely focused on Lanimals. And from the jump, everything they did looked so good. So good until the final game. They got the 14th place with the 2 kills. But even the 11th that they had in the 3rd game didn't seem that bad, because they started off hot. And then they had those back-to-back round 4 and round 5s where it was like they were so close both times. They were so close. The comms were going crazy. Everything was like this. I think if they start off regionals and they have a top 5 finish, look out. Because when they start off good, when they have a good start, they completely just like their vibes are so good going into everything. It kind of like gels them together. And you can't say that for all teams. Like TSM is an example of a team that a lot of times they'll start off good and then they kind of trail off throughout the day. Lanimals is the opposite. If they can just have like a very good start, they will be able to consistently go through. And I think it kind of puts them in a good mental state because they're not chasing anymore. Now they're just focused on what they need to do. And it's not always easy to do that when you start off and you're like 17th. You know, it's hard to get into that mindset. If they can start off top 5 in regionals, I'm confident they're making it to LAN. I am absolutely confident. I like their comms were so good. They had like the mental focus, and the only time it trailed off was the last game of the day. They got a little frustrated with one another, but that's what I like to see. There's passion, there's fire. They're out here. They're ready to go. I am so excited for Lanimals, and I'm going to be tuned in, locked into that all day. Now, it is going to be tough because, like we said before, this before was split into groups A, B, and C, and you kind of could figure out which teams were going to be in A, B, and C. That is no longer. Now you're just getting the big dogs. You are getting the big boys throughout this entire thing, and you're going to have to deal with some screamer teams on the other side of you. You got Xset, Oxygen, Xset, Optic Gaming, and Furia just sitting right there at the top. Now, we'll get to the Dark Zero drama and all of that stuff first, or in a little bit. But it's just like those 3 teams alone are going to make it really difficult, and we're not even taking into account like the TSMs, the 100 Thieves, and the Phases. We've kind of fallen off with FaZe, even though FaZe has kind of always been consistently in the top 10. It's not going to be easy. But if they can find a way, if they can dig deep, find a way, get that first good game under their belt, we're going to be good. Hashtag L2L, Animals to Land. We're going to be there.
Wait.
It was incredible to watch.
Can I please talk to you about their team comps? Like,
yeah.
I like,
yeah.
like,
yeah.
okay,
you can,
so,
you can bring it up.
So this team is a little bit unique in that besides Aiden, and I don't even think Aiden is playing Rampart. They have a controller player that is playing Rampart, and I don't think that that's a very common thing at the current moment, but because of Naughty and because of Realm, which by the way, we also need to talk about that, they are going to be no more doing Realms anymore, Realms like play, which we can get into that later as well with all the other drama. It was a good run. But since I think Naughty has gotten more comfortable on Rampart, so on Stormpoint, this Lanimal squad, Alb runs Gibby, Lou runs Valk, and then Naughty plays Rampart. And then on World's Edge, they do
bust out the Loba.
They do Loba with Alb. So it would be Alb on Loba, and then Lou still on Valk, and Naughty still on Rampart. So like this team's busting out like pretty unique comps right now. Definitely off meta picks in some regard, like a little bit of a spicy pick for both a Gibby and a Loba. So I'm interested to see how. I mean, they are confident right now. I think. Why?
Yeah,
I like.
And I think it works, dude. Like, I really do think, especially the World's Edge, when they busted out the Loba, I was kind of scratching my head being like, okay, how is this going to work? But I think it works because World's Edge, they're not getting the same loot that they're getting in Stormpoint. And they're like, how can we make this back? Getting back to the Naughty thing with him playing Rampart, he was very good at placing down the walls. Why? Because the communication. Like every single time a wall wasn't to exact specifications, Lou was on it and was like, redo that. And it was like they were basically coaching him mid game. And then when it came to busting out the Sheila, you give Sheila to a controller player, that's good. You give a Sheila to Naughty, that's next level. And that's what was happening. He was able to shred with the Sheila. He was doing really well. They had that was the one game when they got the when they were stuck inside of a train car on World's Edge. I believe it was their 11th place. Naughty not playing Rampart right there, I don't know if they even get 11th. Like he was able to stabilize them for a good amount of time while they were just going down consistently. It was a bad rotate. It wasn't their best decision throughout the day, but The other thing I wanted to mention was Albrelelli playing the Gibraltar. Like, we've always known Al, when you give him a legend, he's able to mechanically figure it out, especially like you always see Alb clips when a new legend drops, and he's just finding ways to use a legend that we haven't even thought of. But Alb is just a very good Gibby. Remember last split when they were playing with Snipe Down and Slurp? They were trying to do this exact thing. They were trying to do that team building, trying to find like a different like comp throughout the entire thing.
They did like 9 different comps.
Yeah, and it wasn't working, right? I think with Naughty and with Lou, they've completely bought into being like, okay, this guy is able to find compositions and is able to use legends in different ways every single time a new one comes. Let's buy into this. Let's figure out exactly what he wants to do. And it's worked. Like the World's Edge thing with Loba, they're getting that loot, and then you have the Gibraltar there, and then you also I just think it just works all the way through. They're just doing things differently. They're trying out new things, and they're succeeding in doing it. They still might not make land, but I'm going to tell you this: this was an incredible run, and I hope that they don't give up on it if they don't make land on this first go round, because they've shaken things up and it's looked good. But yeah, the compositions are weird, they're wacky, they're wild, and it's weird to see a controller player playing the Rampart. But if you're going to give it to anybody, I mean, give it to Naughty.
I'm glad we're in agreement of that. Dude, their passion's fun. I know we keep talking about Lanimals, but they are fun to watch. Like, and then you got Duplex, like their coach, that just will drop in and be like, "Yeah, good job, guys."
Yeah, and when they do bad, like it is funny when they do bad. It's not to the levels of like TSM when they do bad. Like when TSM does bad, it's always funny. It just makes me laugh. I just start smiling, not because I want to see them fail. It's just when they're screaming at each other, it's funny. But Lanimals is close. Like it's fun to listen to, but they're always able to restabilize, get back to level. Any other storylines you guys saw throughout the last 2 days?
Furia looking in form. LG looking like they are now. They had to do well enough, and they did, to like once again put them in a spot to now potentially put them in lane contention, even though this team has been so inconsistent and so below par for what we think LG should be all split. And now they're fighting back and can potentially now get a lane spot. So I would say that is like my biggest thought. But that we can move on to day 9, I think, unless do you have anything for day 8?
Not really. I mean, when it comes to like the storylines on the days, I'm gonna be honest, my ability to provide that is just shot. Because like I only pay attention, I mean rightfully so, to the boys. And so like
we'll get to them. We'll get to them.
Well, we can talk about it. But like obviously
let's
like we didn't have like the best day. And then very clearly had like very far from like the best day on
day 9.
On day 9. Day 9 was tough, but day 9 we got a 7th place with 3 kills, which I believe was our best game of the day. Which I mean, yeah, like it was that rough. We're getting 7th with 3 kills is your best game. But that was the game that made the difference on whether or not we were going to be able to have an opportunity to play in regionals. Because we went from a team that, like, in the last 2 days, we went from a team that had the ability to qualify for LAN if we had 2 days, to a team that we almost didn't qualify for the regional final. But thankfully, we got the point we needed that pushed us over. And I'm optimistic. I think that there's a lot of things that we've learned as a team that we need to work on and get better at. And hopefully we'll be doing our best to do that as we head into this weekend. And from a personal level, I've learned a lot about what I should be doing and where I need to be stepping in more than I have been. Because like I think I've been doing like a good job, but I definitely could be doing a better job. And I mean, obviously it's like my first time coaching an Apex Legends team, and so I'm not going to be like the best I'm going to be obviously at the start, and so I'm excited to keep on learning and getting better. Because I do think that I'm getting better the more time goes on, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Because obviously we are not looking super hot right now, but like I genuinely believe that if this team can all get on the same page and like when things are clicking, I think they are genuinely one of the most talented teams in the game. It's just been we have not been able to put it together, and like almost every day there's like something that goes wrong, and then we just haven't been able to find our way to bounce back from it. But we're close. We're really, really, really close to being a really good team. And so that's really like my only storyline.
I so wholeheartedly want to believe you, and then I see y'all's comp, and I'm like, what are they doing?
See, we
You're gonna have to explain the comp to the people.
Okay, so I'll explain.
I think we need some validation at this point.
Okay, so we had 2 bad days of. So we started off on a really good day, and then we had 2 bad days of ALGS, and then so the problem wasn't the comp, but design was so confident that the comp was the play that. And I think on paper, like, and when you think about it, it really could be a very good comp and one that I think is very strong if it's played right. I just think it's hard for any team to take a comp that they don't have a ton of experience on and play it at the highest level, which is what you need to be doing when you're playing in these ALGS lobbies. And so I don't think the comp necessarily is inherently bad. I just think it was a bad idea to run it with as little practice and experience that we had. And like there are certain things about like that day that I could point to and be like, oh, that's just unfortunate that happened. But it is what it is. But then when they switched off of that one, they wanted we did Bang, Horizon, Seer, because they wanted to have like the more hard committed edge comp. But now we found and made our way back to the Wraith, Cat, Seer, which, in my opinion, like going back and looking back at the season as it's played out, that's an area where I was like hesitant towards the comp switch, but I was trusting that the boys knew what they were doing and that I didn't want to like counter call what they wanted to do because I didn't think that I had enough knowledge on the situation to be able to like make that call. And then, but like looking back at it now, it's definitely something where I wish I would have been like, guys, like our comp's not the problem. Keep running on it. This is what we're comfortable with. This is what we've been popping off with. Keep with it, clean things up, and we'll do well. Because I definitely think the decision to change and play as many comps as we have was a bad idea.
It feels like the phase situation.
It's definitely like, it's definitely something that we've learned from. And I like again, like even if we don't make LAN, I'm very excited for next season, or next split or whatever we got ahead of us. Because I genuinely do believe that this team is incredibly talented, and I know that once we clean things up and we all get on the same page, that everybody else will see what I do.
Beautiful. Okay, so moving off of E8 and getting into some of the other teams here. Glitch Energy, obviously they came out strong, back-to-back wins. They also had a 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. So they really had just an overall banger day. Only one really bad game, round 2. They got 17th, but really solid day for Glitch Energy. That was a team. There were some teams that early on we thought were gonna maybe surprise, and they kind of tailed off. Glitch Energy was not one of those teams. Glitch Energy has kind of stuck around this entire time. They're sitting here at 5th overall, and to be honest with you, they have actually a pretty solid amount of points right now, sitting at 84. We talked about the pile up over there around the 9th spot. They got about 10 points on all of those teams, maybe more like 11, 12, 13. So it's like they're sitting in a really good spot. And this team, man, they are solid. They are real solid. What do you think, Finn?
Hand up. After day, after day, that would have been day 6. Yep, after day 6, I remember us saying, well, GE's kind of dropped off. like hand up. I think we were putting them in the same category with like CLG and Oxygen, I think at some point. And so hand up, I will say they ended up like bouncing back very well in day 7 and in obviously day 9. So, I love being proven wrong. And, we mentioned Aiden all the time, but I mean, I am glad to see Aiden, a featured guest on the show, do well. And it's almost, I don't think they have quite, they're like a 98% chance to get in. I don't think they're auto qualified, but I mean, as long as they don't get last place, I think Glitch Energy auto gets into to the playoffs. So excited for them. It's exciting for to see Reeds and Aiden finally getting to play at LAN, and they deserve this. So good on them to getting first place. I mean, that's a pretty dominant day. A fourth place, a first place, a first place, a third, and a second. Like you're just having a good day. And then once again, going back to day 8, Furia did well, and then now back to day 9, Furia did well. They got a third place. So it's like, man, Furia's form is actually looking really, really well. One thing, okay, there's two things.
One thing that I want to talk about are you talking about Furia?
No. I was gonna switch to another team, but we can. Yeah. Okay, I would love to.
So, like, I believe Furia they're in the lead for most wins this ALGS split. I believe that is a stat that has been changed because I think there was one team that was leading that, which I think was XET. But I do think Furia has taken that spot, and so I think that's really cool.
Yeah, they got 7.
I think that's really cool to see that they at one point were criticized as a team that couldn't win games, and they kind of heard that and they responded this split, and they've gotten way more consistent. They're popping off, and it's been cool to see them develop and change because when everybody did catch up, there was a point where it was like, oh, what happened to Furia? Are they going to be able to keep performing at the level they were when they were the only ones running this style of comp? And it really seems that they've bounced back from that drop and decline that we did see from them, and they are looking very, very sharp heading into this next land.
So there was a time on this podcast where I was heavily criticized for saying NRG will not make it to Sunday. Now, at this current moment, NRG is in 11th place.
Mm-hmm.
They are if things were to end right now, they would win the tiebreaker to go to LAN because they would be number 11. If this team does not make LAN, I will spin zone my my thought from last split, and I will say, look, it was the right, like I was on the right track. It was the right answer. I was just early, right? So that's my take going into this. That being said, Energy does not look like they're in form right now. So I don't know what it is. Could it be what Nocturnal was talking about, where is it too much microing going on for that team? I don't know. You make your own decisions, but they did get 11th place on day 9, which is, I wish I could say that is surprising, but it's not very surprising for the energy that we've been seeing this split. So I don't know what exactly is going wrong. Is there going to be a team change if energy does not make it to LAN?
Dude, I was just going to ask that. I doubt 100%. I was going to say 100%. I think something changes.
Who are they get? The only person that they get, the only thing that could possibly change is they would change guild.
Yeah,
that is the only change.
You don't think Nathan would go?
No, I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that is that Sweet and Nathan both have a deal that if one of them quits Apex, the other one will retire as well. I don't know 100% how true that statement is, but I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere online. But like, I do not see.
Well, that just makes Guild the odd man out.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, like, I just don't think I think that there's zero chance that NRG changes the roster instead of giving them more time to develop. I mean, obviously they've been playing together for quite some time now.
I don't. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they won't be able to grow and adapt and get to a level of play that we are used to seeing them at.
I don't think they will switch either, mainly because of the points situation. And we get in with that with Cody a tiny bit, but because they did well at the last lane, what they got third place or second place? I think it was second place. They have a lot of points, so that would push them into auto qualifying to champs. So I don't think they'll make an actual change either. But I think after champs, if they don't do well at champs, then I think that they might make a roster change. But
to who though?
It's going to be weird to see NRG not making land if they don't.
Who do you?
Not saying that
yeah.
Like who?
I mean, like, I don't think it's a slight to Guild to say that like they would actively try to find somebody else, because I mean, Guild, he is, like we've said, one of the better controller players, if not the best out. Like, he is very, very good, and he might be one of the best 1v1 controller players. It seems like every time I see him, he's in a 1v1 and he wins it. But sometimes like if it's not meshing, you know, they might need to find somebody else.
That's
and
fair.
you know, I don't know. I threw it out there because I'm thinking this is an organization. It's proud. Sweet is proud. He wants to win. He wants to finally have that win under his belt. You know, I leave no stone unturned, I guess.
It's just something to think about, something to keep your eye on if they don't do well. So they are one of the teams that we should be looking for.
Why? Do you see NRG doing well come regionals?
I do. I think they sneak in. I think they find a way to sneak in. They've been dancing that line this whole time, and I think anything can happen if you can sneak in. I think they find a way to do it. I don't think they have like an absolute banger day. I think they just squeak in, and then when it comes to LAN, anything can happen. And I think they're I think this team will be more comfortable than some at LAN because they've gone down this road before. And I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to Sunday by any means, because the talent is there. It's just they haven't had the greatest split. I'm just saying if they don't, they might take a hard look at like, hey, do we need to change something here? But I do think they make it. I do think they make it though.
I don't know. I still keep going back to what Nocturnal said in our last episode. Make sure you guys go and listen to that. But he did talk about how like micro IGLing, he feels like it like paralyzes your team, and like cookie cutter, and like doesn't let people like play free and like be the best that they can be. I don't know, just something to think about. One of the biggest things, and I feel like we talk about them every single podcast, every time that they have a game, but it's because they have the biggest name in Apex besides Hal, and that would be the Tripods and Nick Merckx. So Wyatt, I feel like you should take it over. Were you able to watch any bit of the Tripods during day 9?
Yeah, and I got to see their win. Nick Merckx IGLing is something I didn't think I'd ever see, because he came to this game late, and you would think that people with more experience in the game and like in these high pressure situations would be the ones IGLing. But then you take a look at his experience in the past, you take a look at his resume, it does make sense, because he's done this before. Like, he's been in these situations before. If you watch the final call, or like all of his calls in the final or in their game, in their win, all of those were correct. Everything he called out happened exactly as he called it out. It was all exactly right. He was like, we're going to try to take control of this rock. Let's push this rock. Let's push this rock. If we push this rock, it'll make them go fight the other team. He gets them to go fight the other team. I believe, I don't even remember who the teams were. I think it was Dark Zero and Meat Lovers.
Optic.
Yep. Sorry. So Dark Zero and Optic, he pushes them together. They throw up their veil. He's like, Gent, you need to throw up your veil. He throws up the veil. They get across. They get to the rock. And then he's like, I'm anchoring. I'm anchoring. And I think that's also a smart thing by him, too. He knows he's got 2 shooters with him, and he knows that he may not be the best shooter on that squad. So what is he going to do? I'm going to sit back. I'm anchoring. I'll make the calls. I am the IGL. He's calling from top rock and laying down, suppressing fire. Then he's got his 2 shooters up in front. They clean it up easily, like we know, Gent and Deeds are going to do, and they take the win. It was awesome. Like, it was awesome to watch. And they didn't just have like a good win on day 9. Like, they had a good day 9. They were playing consistently good the entire time. And if they don't have like the one bad game in round 2, who knows? Maybe they're sitting second or even third. But day 8, they also had like a decent day. They were sitting 10th, but they had another second place finish with 2 kills. So they were kind of dancing around it the entire time. They've been the entire second half, dude. They've done a lot better than they did in the first half. It's still not to the standard to be able to compete for land by any means, but it was very interesting to see Nick Merckx IGLing, and it worked, man. It fucking worked.
Dude, they look so much better and like so much more decisive. Like, oh man, they just look they are better, and I think this team will continue to keep going. And I talked with I don't know, a few episodes ago about Nick like kind of taking that role from Gent, and I think that he does lean a lot on Gent as well. Whenever from what I've watched, he'll be like, Gent, make sure that that's the correct call. Like if they have enough time, if there's like a big rotation, he'll ask Gent like for help in that. And I just think you're leaning on a guy that has a lot of experience. I don't know. We keep talking about it, but I do think that this team did get better this split, though they didn't like qualify for LAN. I think this team got better, and I think that they are going to continue to keep doing so if they keep putting in the work. But yeah, it's just impressive stuff. I saw a clip of Hal like being unimpressed with. He's like, why are they celebrating their first win in Pro League? And I saw Nick just like I don't know, just balling out to some rave music. But I don't know, winning a game in Pro League is very like that's an achievement. Like that's not easy to do. And so I think him being an IGL plus winning a Pro League game, I'd be on top of I'd be to the moon and back, bro. So yeah, it's really it for me for day 9.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, and it was just cool to see. People don't realize how much experience Nick Merckx has in gaming just in general. He had the Gears of War, he had the Call of Duty, obviously had the Fortnite, and now he's on Apex. I mean, that guy is seasoned. He knows what he's doing. So it was shocking at first, but once you realize and put all of those pieces together, makes sense. Anything else, boys, before we move on into our interview with Complexity Cody?
I mean, we talked about how GE was playing really well, and I'm excited to see them performing as well as they have. And I'm excited to see them on pace to make a LAN appearance. I think that team is going to be exceptional to watch at LAN. Big day from Optic Gaming. They finished second, and that really was the place that they had on lock seemingly the whole day. They got second, a 14th, a 5th, a 2nd, and a 4th. So just incredibly consistent on making it to that top 5. Actually, just unreal that they make top 5 out of 6 games. To me, that's just insane. And they take 3 second places. Weren't able to bring home a win, which is unfortunate to see. And 2 of those being to Furia, who came in 3rd. But Optic is definitely looking in strong form as we approach regionals, and they will be a team that I believe that they're more than qualified at this point. And so it'll be interesting to see how hard they play to deny LG if they can, because that is a team that 100%. Yes, they want to play to get good points and so that they can finish well and place well and get more money. But I think what's way more important for Optic Gaming as they're moving into this regional finals is making sure that Luminosity has a bad day. which I think is going to be something that we should be keeping our eye on, and something that we should be talking about is like what teams do we think are going to try to cause other teams to have bad days.
Yeah, and that is there are a few teams here who really, if you look at it, don't have to worry about a whole lot, and they could really ruin some other teams' days. We're going to get into all of that on the other side of the interview when we go in and talk a little bit more about our predictions of who is actually going to sneak in and make it into land. But until then, ladies and gents, we're going to throw it on down to our interview with Complexity Cody. He is a first time ever reoccurring guest. The first time he was on, he was filling in. And then now, fast forward to now, he is on one of the premier teams in the ALGS, and they are absolutely killing it. Ladies and gents, let's hit a quick ad. And on the other side, Cody. All right. Ladies and gents, I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive that this is the first time we're having a recurring guest. It's our guy, Cody from Complexity here. And this is just the craziest guest to have for a second time because the first time we were talking to Cody, he was a fill-in. He was stepping up because somebody couldn't fill in their roster. They needed somebody to come in there. Cody stepped up to the plate. He had a good, solid time there. But now he ain't no fill-in, baby. He is a bona fide superstar playing for Complexity right now. Cody, you've been on a hell of a ride. It's been a crazy journey. You're here in front of us again. How are you doing, my man?
Doing good. Finishing up school, ready to go into regionals with a bang.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I know before we get into all the Apex stuff, I do want to get the school stuff out of the way because I know last time we talked, you were working hot and heavy on school and all that type of stuff. How's that been going for you? How close are you to being done? How are you feeling with all of that?
I'm feeling good. I just finished my last exam today, and I'm ready for the graduation ceremony on this Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. And regionals on Sunday, too, so I got a really packed weekend.
You got a busy weekend, but yes, awesome. That's good to hear. That's great to hear. I don't even know where to start here because there's so many different places we can go from, but I guess getting into your team right now, Complexity, you guys started off the split with a bang and you guys were kind of just carrying along all the way through into top 10. And I remember there was a specific episode where we were talking about the teams that just, they were always like at the forefront. You talk about like the X sets, right? They were always there. So you're always talking about, wow, this team's really, really good. FaZe had a very good start. They've always kind of been there too. And then we started to look at the stats and we were like, dude, Complexity has been here this entire time. And we have barely mentioned them. We got to give them some credit. And I also pulled up a crazy stat, and I don't know if it still stands to this day, but at the time, there were only 3 teams that had all 3 players in the top 20 in kills. That was FaZe, Optic, and you guys in Complexity. So you guys just clicked immediately. You guys have had just an awesome split all the way through. I guess what I'm asking here is how have you guys been able to gel like this and play so smoothly together and also kind of carry like that consistent good day throughout most of these match days?
I think it's more or less just like being really good friends with each other. Like I know Luda has some stuff going on where he can't play as much due to his hands, but more or less like me, Kim, Monsoon, and Luda, we all get along really well. So that's where the chemistry comes in. In terms of consistency, I mean, we just play as much as we can, like as many scrims as we can, really.
How do you feel about scrim quality as of late?
I mean, well, we just played scrims today. We got aped game 4 and 5 by DZ and Furia, and Furia died both times immediately, and I'm sure they don't care because they're auto-quad for LAN. But yeah, I had a blast today in scrims.
I was gonna ask specifically when it comes to y'all's team camaraderie. You just mentioned Kimchi, and was it like an easy transition whenever you kind of switched from ESA to then going to going with like playing with Luda and then transitioning to having Mon as your IGL? Can you talk about that? Because last time we talked, Phony was your IGL, so
Yeah.
now Monsoon kind of filling that role, but you still having Luda by your side. How has that been when it comes to the transition from both of those 2 different IGLs?
I would say the main major transition is I know Mon was more of a zone IGL, and we used to play we used to play Seer, Cat, Valk, I think it was after the third or fourth game day, we ended up swapping to Bang Sirvalk, and that gave me a lot more options in terms of aggressiveness, and I'm able to like take a lot more space with her smokes and her Bang ult. But we've kind of transitioned from where we were lacking into where we are thriving more in terms of playstyle, and we better utilize like the beacon scans or the crafting. Like we play edge sometimes. It's all very depending on the zone. Like let's say we have a native zone, then we just pretty much try to go get us like quick spot in zone. Otherwise, we're playing edge and just going to get our armors up and get all the loot that we need to take fights on our way into zone.
All right, so the turning point for your guys' season was really when they let you out of Seer prison. And so, can we get a little bit of insight from a player of your caliber on how crippling that Seer prison can be, and what about Bang, especially, do you feel really allows you to like unlock what seems to be just like a completely different level of play from an individual standpoint?
I mean, in terms of playing Bang, I'd say more or less all of her, like every part of her kit, her double time being able to give you the speed boost, her smokes being able to smoke off LOSs where you need to like rotate, or if you have a DT too, you can just smoke your feet or smoke the enemy too to shoot them through the smoke. And then her ultimate is literally like one of the best ultimates in the game. It just allows you to take so much space in an open field. And most of the fights are out in the open, especially in comp end zones. It's insane. Seer Prison, that character is just a hellhole. I won't lie, but it's more or less like I wouldn't say it's just necessarily me playing Bangalore that allows us to thrive more. It's like we didn't really utilize Cat and Seer like that well, nor did we like really utilize like Ring Console that much because the POIs have like that we land at have like really low chances of spawning them. So I think making the change to Bang and having like different play styles depending on zones kind of works out better for us.
Now,
You
as
be
I mentioned,
schmoovin' though. You do be schmoovin'.
I'll be schmoovin'.
now you aren't completely out of the woods yet here because you guys had been holding pretty close to top 10 most of this split, but you guys are sitting at 13th right now. You still have the final day to try and make your way in. The points you get from that day are going to count towards getting into the top. I believe it's actually top 11, right? Not top 10.
Yeah, it's top 11.
Actually top 11. Yeah, so you guys still have a little bit of ways to go. Right now you're currently sitting at 13th, but you're literally just 1 point behind top 11. NRG is at 11 and tied with Wildcard Gaming at 71. You guys have 70. So you still have a little bit of work to be done. You're not necessarily crossed the finish line just yet. Going into this final day, what are you guys going to be looking to focus on as far as just your team cohesion to help you guys be able to make it to LAN?
Honestly, just making sure we get our drop spots in order because right now we are currently being contested by me at C-Note and LAN at Epicenter/Survey, and we have no plans of really backing down as of right now, as far as we've discussed. And we've been landing at those POIs literally every split. So like we know how to contest them. We've had I think it was Noxious contest us at one point in scrims. And we don't have any issue. And we have tons of contesting experience with tripods, with other like LAN teams that during international scrims at Sunote too. So we don't really like we have no issue if they want to keep going. We're not gonna back down like easily.
The wild thing is the teams that are contesting you are like in contention to be in the top 11. Like everybody that's contesting you, I mean, Meat's in 9th place, and then you guys are in 13th, and then Land's in 14th. But it's all that's a 4-point swing between all like those three teams, y'all. Like,
yeah.
And so I are you confused by that? Like, are you a little like why are they doing this? Or do you feel like it's a good strategy on their end? I don't know.
No, I don't think it's a good strategy on their end. They're landing at, I mean, we've landed those POIs the entire split, and why they're deciding to land there now makes literally zero sense to us. But I mean, I'm with you in the sense that like they shouldn't be contesting. No one should be contesting if they can, considering like we're all on the cusp of going to LAN. it seems a bit silly to me.
I would also argue now that Meat has a new third. Like, I
Mhm.
think that also plays into it too. Like,
Do we
why would they
officially know who
contest?
that is?
They
I
played
mean,
they played with Luxford today in scrims, so
people are
Okay.
thinking
I don't
it's
know if that's
Lux.
official, but I mean, take a guess. I
I
don't
could
know
see
why.
that. I could see that.
I don't know why.
Wasn't
Hmm?
I wasn't roster lock
It was
today,
today,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they got him as their third.
Over Rambo.
I
Interesting.
don't know. I don't
Or
know.
I think Rambo made it seem like he does have like a deal down the line that
Yeah, like
he's looking forward to.
after July, after playoffs. Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
So getting back into the contest a little bit here, you guys said you said you're feeling really confident going into those. Is
Mhm.
there a reason why, other than you've obviously landed there the whole time, but is there just team cohesion when it comes to team fighting that you guys feel you have the upper hand? Because there was a lot of contests on Cena. I specifically remember the tripod ones where it just kind of felt like you guys came in waves. I think you lost the first one, but then you guys were able to
Mhm.
come back and kind of like take control of that one. But what is it about the contest that makes you feel comfortable? Not necessarily comfortable, but confident going into those?
I would say mainly the experience that we've gained as a team and the team chemistry that we have in terms of fighting and everything. It's more or less we know how to land the POI and like how to contest it.
Okay, so let's go back to let's go a little bit further back to split one. You guys go to
Mhm.
LAN. You're obviously the fill-in. It didn't turn out like the way you guys wanted to. I believe you guys made it to Sunday, but then that
Mhm.
Sunday wasn't the best. Let's kind of run through that Sunday and just go through in your mind what were some of the things that went wrong and some of the things that you took away from that entire experience.
Specifics on that day. I mean, we just had like really unfortunate rotates as far as I can remember. It was not really like 3v3 potential on our end. I don't think that was like an issue. It was like rotations, and I think the heat of the moment kind of got to us. But takeaways, it's playing at LAN for one of them. First of all, that was insane. Literally never thought I would ever go play at LAN, especially out of the country. But it's like playing in those high tier level, like high tier pro level lobbies is like what really like what I want to do. Like that's what I want to do. I'm really happy that I got to do that chance. I'm really happy that I can continue to do it.
And then it transitioned into you continuing to play with Complexity, or sorry, it was
Mhm.
Luda, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it continued with you and Luda playing together. Now you're looking for somebody else. How did it kind of come together with Monsoon, and how did you guys kind of come together as a team going into Split 2?
I mean, we kind of were looking at all of our options, and Mon being under the banner of complexity as well, it was kind of just like a no brainer because we also have playoff points. We took those with us, so it gives us an advantage into just overall and also into champs. But like I think we've come a long way and we've grown a lot at like together as a team, and I think it's really shown, especially after the first. I think the first few days of Pro League Split 2, we weren't doing too well, and then we popped off the next 2 days. Um, Last week, the last game day was kind of rough, but unfortunate events happen. You can't be perfect every day. Um, but yeah, I think we've come a long way, and I think really happy with where we are overall, regardless of like where we did necessarily like last game day. Like we're still all of our mentals are still good. We're all still like vibes are high. We're still just ready to bang out on Sunday.
Yeah, taking a look at your last day game, it was day 8. You guys get
Mm-hmm.
17th place, but if you kind of look deeper, you had a third place with 3 kills. You had a third place with
Mm-hmm.
2 kills. It was just those random games at the beginning, at the 17th,
Mm-hmm.
18th, 19th, and the 20th. So it was like if you were able to get out of your rotate, you guys were okay. What was causing the early exits of some of those other games on day 8?
I would say the main culprit for our downfall on that day was we tried to go to different spots when we were already in decent spots. I remember, I think it was game 3 of Storm Point. it was game 1 or game 2 or game 3 at Storm Point. We were in the zipline building next to High Point, and we were trying to decide if we wanted to go to the like 2 little smaller buildings right down the hill, like right down the hill into High Point. And it ended up working better that we didn't, because there was just a massive pileups. There was already a Catalyst team there, but that type of like mentality like kind of happened in other games, and that kind of led us to get killed. Like game 6, I remember we were playing the tunnel outside on the west side of Survey, and we could have just stayed in the tunnel because the zones were kind of like just pulling back all the way into the corner, and we were safe in that tunnel. And if we had stayed in that tunnel, we probably could have gotten like a way better spot or just played our edge in. But instead, we decided to take the balloon, fly to the zip building that's closest to outside the west of the Skyhook tunnel, and we ended up landing on like the 2nd and 3rd floor, and we just died because we got crossfired. So I think that was the main downfall of that day.
I say, a lot of people don't really, they may not understand that you guys are trying to make a play. It's not necessarily like a dumb play. It's just like you're taking a calculated risk to try and potentially get you in a better spot for later on in the game. You're not just like intentionally throwing your game, right? And so I think a lot of our listeners have got, like, obviously if they're listening to our podcast, they're interested in ALGS, and so I think a lot of them may understand that, but maybe as a casual viewer, they may not understand, like, why did Complexity just go and die so quickly whenever they were in a spot that was in zone, but they didn't understand, like, hey, like ring 5, ring 4, they're going to be pushed out and they're going to have like not a playable spot. But if they are able to be safe and get to that, take that risk and it works out, then they're in a great spot, right? And a lot of Apex competitively, specifically macro rotations, comes down to taking those risks. And I think what you explained is really well done.
Yeah.
And but it's just like one of those, it's like, all right, we just go next. Like, it was a worth a risk, but it didn't happen,
Yeah.
All right, so we got regionals coming up this Sunday, and it is basically the culmination of the entire season. It all comes together, whether or not you guys are going to be able to make it to LAN. What is going through your head as you're approaching this day, and what are you doing basically each and every day to help prepare you for the moment when it comes?
More or less just eating good foods, making sure I put time into the game. I've actually kind of done some Kovacs recently. Kimchi's got me on it, me and Mon. So he's making us work our asses off because we all want this. We all want to make it to LAN. We all want to make it to the champs, especially too. But he's been fucking. He's been going at us. I'm happy with having Kim as our coach because he makes us do what we need to do to ensure that we're at our best.
Okay, so can you give us a little bit of insight into like what you mean by that, and like what are all of these things that he's putting in place that are helping you guys be your best?
So aim training, Kovacs, making sure we're kind of like eating right in a sense, like making sure we're not just like eating shit food. But that's what I mean, even I've started doing that myself more or less, but making sure we're hydrated, making sure we're just like getting our game time in, not just like wasting our time every day, like making sure we're playing scrims. We're playing scrims every day this week, I think, except maybe Friday. I might not be able to. But it's just, he's also just a really good life coach as well. Like he has a really good insight on life. So if I ever have anything that I need to talk to him about, I literally just go to him. He's a really good friend. I'm really happy to have him.
That's great to hear. And so when you guys were looking for a coach, what about Kimchi stood out to as like you guys wanting to work with him opposed to other people?
I mean, to be fair, I don't have much insight on that because Kim was the coach of ESA as well. So because he's basically just like came with me and Luda onto Complexity along with On.
So I noticed before we started talking to you, or when you first hopped into the lobby, you said, I think we're like 13th or 14th or something like that.
Mhm.
I wanted to like pick on that a little bit. Is it one of those things where you don't want to look at the standings because it's like, who cares where we are in the standings? We just need to play our best, and if we play our best, we'll get in. Or is that something you guys want to pay attention to? You want to see how many points you need, and kind of take in exactly, get the mental math going so you guys know exactly where you need to be. Because I know some teams will look at it differently, where it's like, if we look at it, it's going to be too much of a distraction. We should just focus on playing well. Or it's like, well, we kind of need to know how good we need to do on this day. Like, has your
Yeah.
team discussed that at all?
It's more or less like we've talked about, like, okay, yeah, we're 13th overall. We need like on regionals day, we need probably like a top 7, top 8. But we've talked about it like once, and then like everything else is just kind of out the window. We just like we know we needed to perform that day, so we're prepping like every day to ensure that we do the best that we can that day with everything that's in our control. That is.
Yeah, I mean, this game is there's so much RNG. There's so much that can happen, so much that can go wrong. And I'm sure on that final day, the day 8, must have been a little disappointing because you guys probably could have like really solidified yourself within this top 10 on that day. You guys weren't able to get it done. How was the vibe after the day was over? Because I'm sure there was probably some frustration. Probably wasn't easy knowing that you guys could have just had like an average day and probably locked it in. But did you guys talk about it at all? Like, what exactly was the vibe right after the day was over?
Right after the day was over, well, after the games were over, I just went to go chill out, went to go clear my head, just went to go lay down, went to go bed eventually, and then it was just kind of like okay, that day happened, we just got to go next. We just got to see what happens. We watch the games on Sunday, see how teams do, see which teams get relegated and everything, which teams make it into the top 20, and then it's just prep for regionals day, more or less.
Is there anybody on the team who's kind of like the more vocal, more outspoken person to try and keep the vibes all right? Is there like anybody who does that, or is it more just you guys kind of figure it out on your own type situation?
I would say Mon and Kim. Mon is literally the happiest guy you'll ever meet. I love him so much. He's my boy. Kim is just there to also, in between games as well, make sure that we're all ready to go into the next with a clear mindset.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that you guys have going for you is that you guys are a double M&K team, which is, I believe, becoming one of like the rarer things, because as we see more and more and more double controller teams. But you are a user of the Wooting keyboard, and some people have described that as like macros for M&K. What is your opinion on that, and like where and how big of an impact does it make into what you're able to do as a player?
I mean, honestly, just like most other keyboards that have, like, let's say like a Logitech keyboard also has software that you can customize stuff with it. I'm sure it also has macros. Booting does have a macro function. Granted, I don't use it because that's just literally cheating. But more or less, the changing in the actuation points isn't like, that has nothing to do with macros. I think that's being like overspoken about. That's just more or less like how far down you have to press the key for it to activate and put in an input. So anyone who thinks that's macroing is just like blowing it way out of proportion. But the one thing, it more or less makes like your WASD movement feel a lot better. Super glides feel a lot better. It's not consistent. I feel like I hit them more, but it's not like I have 100% consistency rate with it.
Gotcha. And what mouse pad are you using these days? Are you on the glass pad, or what are we working with?
I'm on the Artisan Raiden right now. I have so many mouse pads. It's so bad. That's my
thinking about. I don't have a mouse pad, and I'm thinking about like after I go through all of these solo to masters thing, doing it on M&K. But I have to actually get a legitimate like M&K setup, and so
yeah.
When that time comes, you will be the guy that I'll be hitting up for sure.
I mean, you don't need Artisan Mousepad is it's a Japanese company, so it's like imported from Japan, so it takes like a week or two to get delivered. You don't really like need one, but I just like the quality of them and I like how they feel. So that's why I've always stuck with them.
Gotcha. Have you tried out the glass one? I believe it's called like a sky pad.
Yeah, the sky pad. I tried that out probably like last year or so, but I have sweaty hands, so like that doesn't really like go well. Like sweat dripping on glass. It doesn't like how's that?
Yeah,
That's gonna
I can
that's
see
like
how that would be problematic
yeah.
for sure. All right, so one thing that I want to get into is the last time we had talked, your plan was that you were going to look for a job in cybersecurity and then continue doing Apex on the side. And that was when you were a sub for ESA. Now you are, as we said earlier, a very just dominant player in Pro League, signed to Big Bad Complexity. And like I would say, like consider them more up and coming because like they're fairly new, but like very well getting established as a dominant tier 1 organization. And so does that change the plans that you have moving forward, or what does it look like as you are graduating and just a little bit of amount of time, and then as a signed professional gamer?
I most likely it's probably gonna be like flipped now. So like Apex is my main thing, of course, being signed and everything and playing in Pro League. And then most likely I'm gonna look for a like work from home position like in cybersecurity, just because like it's extra income into my life, so I could always use that. Nothing wrong with that. As long as it's work from home, I can just do it in like the mornings when I don't have scrims or anything. And scrims are in the evening, and then I could do scrims. I have the rest of the night to myself.
It's crazy how life changes like that, like just in an instant. It was literally like a month, and
Yeah, I know.
everything kind of flipped on its head, and it's so cool to watch because I mean, Enoch's been hyping you up since day one. He's been behind you. He's been the leader of the hype train, the Cody hype train, and it ended up working out so far. And you still got a long way to go. We got a few more questions here. First, I just looked at these artisan mouse pads. These things are like $90, bro. These things are crazy.
They're like $60. Mine was like
What?
65. Yeah.
I got $89.94. I was about to say maybe the mouse pad.
Wait,
is what changed your luck.
Are you ordering it off of Amazon?
Yeah, it's Amazon.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Never
mind.
Yeah, the actual website, it's in yen, and it's like I can like let me search in my email real quick. I think mine was 8,600 yen. What does that equal out to? 63 USD. So it's like
there we go.
Yeah, so it's not as much as like the SkyPad or anything, but they have really good durability. Not as good as the SkyPad, because SkyPad is super duper durable, being glass, but lasts a lot longer than a cloth pad. Because with cloth pads, you get the dead spots, but just wash them. But yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, my joke was a $90 mouse pad. Maybe that's what led you to all this success, but it ended up only being $60. So I can't even say the mouse pad anymore. But yeah, so good. We figured that out. We figured it out together.
Cody, I got one more question for you, and it is, well, I guess it would be two, and this goes back to the contest aspect. Have you guys thought about having contest practice with Exet, since they are already secured and Monsoon lives with two of the people that that play for Exet? Have y'all thought about that? Have y'all discussed that? And then the second question is, does like Kimchi or do you guys like discuss on like Paint 3D about like, hey, we're landing here. If they land here, then this is the scenario and all that kind of stuff?
So first question, we haven't talked about with doing contest practice with Exet now. I'd be open to it. I'm completely fine if we don't though. And then secondly, I think we used to. We don't do that anymore because we already know how to contest at both POIs. We know it's not necessarily we need to draw the exact like loop paths where we land. We've already distinctly written down like which building is which, so we know where to land at.
Okay, and then I guess, sorry, I forgot one last one. Who is the jump master for your squad? Because people may not realize this,
Mm-hmm.
but the jump master can play such a pivotal role whenever it comes to actual contests.
Mhm.
So who is it out of y'all three that is the jump master for your squadron?
Luda is the jump master. I could not do it. I mean, I think I have an understanding of how to jump. I've kind of learned how to from him and Mon and Kim, but it's like I'm not like consistent enough with it. I think Luda understands how to do it a lot more than me.
Great, great answer. I love that. Thank you.
All right, so we do have a new season of Apex coming out. From the competitive side of things, what do you think of the new character? If you have looked into Ballistic at all, and what are your thoughts on if you think he'll end up being played in competitive?
I think Ballistic looks insanely broken. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure how his Q works in the ending of it. I know it's a smart pistol. You do 20 damage, and then if the person continues to shoot their gun, it also does an extra 30. That's 50 damage if the person shoots their gun at you total. Kind of insane. It looked like it in the like gameplay that they released that I don't know if the person could not shoot their gun after they overheat for a brief time. I'm not sure, but that character seems insanely broken. The reload speed, the infinite ammo buff that he gives your teammates for 30 seconds definitely seems like you can just push anyone who you want and not have a big buff advantage to yourself and your team. I think he could be played in comp. I think, especially with the new evac towers, I think he could be played in a comp of like you could play Seer Ballistic Bangalore or something like that, or Seer Ballistic Valk. Honestly, I think that character can add a lot of potential. You don't necessarily you could sub out Ballistic for the Bangalore, not just prior your rotates with Valk. But I think he can bring a lot to the table in terms of damage and just overall like fighting potential.
Yeah, he looks broken.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
oh,
ultimate
yeah.
dude.
No, he looks,
Holy.
yeah.
Which one of you guys gets to play Ballistic if it ends up making it way onto your comp?
Me, I think we've already discussed that.
You're
Pretty
the
sure it's
Ballistic
me.
player?
Yeah.
Right. What gun are you whipping as your third gun that's gonna be full gold whenever you crank that alt?
Who do you think? What gun do you think, Money? What gun do you
I
think?
know what it is.
Come on.
Okay.
Dude, did you see the reload speed on the Did you see the reload speed?
Dude, no, you're gonna be a problem. If you get a insta gold havoc anytime you take a fight, it's just
The key thing though is like what the cooldown is on it, right? And the cooldown of the tactical too, because it didn't show that. So like we don't know until once the season releases, but I would expect the ult to be on like a 2-ish minute cooldown. If it 2 minute and 30, if it's lower than that, if you're not running him, I think you're trolling then, right?
it's a fair take. I'm excited to see your dude, people are gonna be mad, bro. People are gonna be mad. Like I can't like you're an incredibly talented player, but when you got that havoc with the 2x4 and you're just doing your thing, it is something else.
Okay, Cody, you ready? We're gonna do a segment called Double Tap. So I give you a statement. You just say one word to describe that statement. All right. All right. Number 1, havoc.
Chitteray.
Number 2, monsoon.
Handsome.
Number 3, Olympus.
Horse map.
Number 4, ALGS.
Terrible take.
Number 4, ALGS NA Split 2 regionals.
Ape City.
And number 5, Season 17 Complexity Cody.
Playing Ballistic.
Most of those were 2 words, but we'll let it slide. Actually, you know what? Ape City could be combined into 1 word, I think.
It could be.
Okay, let's get into the Ape City thing. Why Ape City?
Considering some teams are auto-qual and they don't really need to care. But they also might care and just get, like, they might want to actually get first. But, like, you know,
there's money involved, right?
Yeah,
there's money involved.
There's money involved in placement. But, like, I mean, let's say, like, hey, DZ doesn't give a shit how they place. They could just go grief a team. You know, why not?
Oh, there'll be some Twitter beef after. I can't wait. Trust.
Okay, so Cody, you are our first repeat interview on the podcast. I'd like to give you a firm and solid congratulations.
Thank you.
And our thank you for coming back on. We absolutely appreciate your time. And I always ask the question of like, what is one thing to like advice that you would give somebody who's trying to achieve the like top 1% in their desired skill level? So you were already in your top 1%, and then it seems from the time of our interview that we had then to now, you're operating at a different level. And so what is one piece of advice that you could give to somebody that you've noticed over like the past short couple months that you've seen this tremendous uptick in your ability to succeed at the level you are at now?
Well, people think putting a ton of hours into something is good, and it might seem good and you might see improvement. You also got to make sure you take time to like take breaks and do other things you enjoy. Like I've been playing other games like DFT in my downtime of Apex, and making sure like I'm taking care of my body more or less and eating like eating well, not just eating junk every day like I used to when I was younger. It's bad. But it's making sure you're taking care of yourself over everything, but also pursuing what you want to do at the same time.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I'm going to say beautiful stuff again. I'm going to wait. You know, I'm leaving this in. Okay, beautiful stuff here. Thank you, Cody, for hopping on the show. I don't know what the fuck you knocked over. I don't know what was going on over there. Something fell. I heard it. It's all good though. Cody, thank you for hopping back on the show. And it truly is inspiring to see. I think people saw in real time what can happen if you continue to work hard at something and you just put yourself in the right spot at the right time. And this is one of those rare instances. I don't even know if it's a rare instance. I think it's one of those times where if you work hard enough at something, an opportunity is going to present itself to you. And if you are able, willing, ready to go to take it and take it on, you know, grab the bull by the horns and just go into that challenge, you're going to come out on the other side looking a lot prettier. And I think you showed the people who've been listening to this podcast that right here, right in front of their very eyes. So whatever they're working on, whatever, you know, they've got going on in their life, they can take a little bit of something from you and just watch the success you've had over just the last short amount of time since the last time you were on. So Cody, inspiring story. Thank you for hopping back on, and we're wishing you the best of luck over there in London, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was our good friend Cody. Thank you to Cody for hopping back on the show and talking to us about his journey. Once again, thank you, Cody. Boys, we got some drama. We got drama going on. Lots of stuff to break down. I'm not even sure how to break it all down because there's just a ton. I'm going to throw it on down to Finn. Finn, try your best. I know it's a lot, but try your best to break down exactly what's gone on the last few days with Meat Lovers, with Rambo, Dark Zero, all of it. It's a crazy triangle of just doom.
So I believe it was Sunday or Saturday, Rambo got the news from Zero that he had found out that all of the that the roster lock for LAN was on this upcoming Tuesday, which is today that we're actually recording. And Rambo was like, "Wait, I'm like, you guys don't want to play with me at LAN." So I think he was a bit like confused and a little hurt because obviously everything that had just happened with you know, the whole Sentinel situation and all that. But so he gets that news, and then Zero starts like looking for like different people to try out. I believe he asked for Shuby. I believe he asked for Funk and Zainu, and I think I don't know. I don't know the last person. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody. But essentially, he was trying to poach them because he felt like he has a better chance to have them and win LAN than I guess Rambo. So once that happened, Tech was like starting to like be like, okay, wait, like, okay. So as of Monday night, Tech was like, hey, I know, like he added Zero in PvP, which is the Dark Zero coach, and was like, hey, like, will you please hurry up and choose who you're going to poach for my team? because I need to figure out who my third is going to be for roster lock. And so evidently it didn't. They only had, I think Tech only had like 3 hours before roster lock to figure out who he was going like. So they ended up taking Zainu. Sorry, DZ ends up taking Zainu, which now makes their team Jim Burton, Zainu, and Zero, which is a pretty nasty team to be honest. And so then Tech
Disgusting.
people, yeah. So Tech thought I guess Tech then had to decide who he was going to pick up as their third to play with him and Funk, and I believe it was between Lux and Rambo, and I believe I think Tech and Rambo have played in the past, and it's not that they're not great players and on paper they would work out. I think it was one of those situations where they just it was just not going to work out. So instead Tech was like, let me try something new with Luxford, who I am a huge fan of, and I think is going to be a solid addition to the squad. That being said, I keep saying I almost said meat riders again, dude. It's meat lovers. They don't have a lot of time to practice, but neither does Dark Zero, but they're auto-qualled, so there's a lot less pressure on them. So it is a bad time. So this is why it's insane. You guys just heard the interview with Cody. They are contesting, as of this moment, Complexity on a new roster with a new third, and they're still contesting. So I think that's insane. So we'll see if that ends up still happening. But that is the roster news. Rambo said that he is just going to hopefully have a team lined up for after LAN. So that is all settled. But yeah, I feel bad for Tech, which is like, I know you either love him or you hate him, but I think I kind of feel bad for Tech because he kind of took a chance on Funk and Zainu and did super well in Pro League, and no one thought that this would do super well. And then now he gets poached right before a potential chance for him to make it to LAN for a team that's already qualified for LAN. So, yeah.
It definitely is an unfortunate circumstance for Tech, but I will have to say that it's very, very, very understandable from Zainu's perspective. Like, this is a team that got put together in like the last 2 months. There's no like long-term like established relationships here. I mean, Zainu and Funk are boys, and then they teamed up to run it with Tech. They saw great success, and I definitely think that everybody was surprised about how well Tech was doing this season. And I think that they were confident in their ability to play well at LAN as a team. I don't think there was any question about that in Zainu's mind. It's just an incredible opportunity, especially, and I'm assuming that he is getting signed on contract to go and play in this land, and I'm assuming that's going to be moving forward as well. But to have the opportunity to get signed by a team who has 2 world championships under their belt already is just unreal. And going from unsigned to then salaried on an org to one of the best teams in the world, point blank period, no discussion. It's a no-brainer from Zainu's POV. And so whether or not you think it's like snake behavior or not, from his perspective and the fact that he's looking at this as he's like a young teenager trying to make gaming his full-time job, the opportunity that Dark Zero provides is just too much to pass up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of discourse online, like there always is, from people being like, that's slimy, that's snaky. And I guarantee if you put a contract in front of all of those people and said, hey, this is what you're going to be making monthly, and it's going to be for a while, they'd be like, I'm just going to zip my, I'm going to shut up, and I'm just going to sign this, this contract here. Yeah, it's really just looking for security. And to be honest, it's kind of like I made the comment a few episodes ago where it was like, when you're playing on a bad team and you know that team's getting disbanded, the coach says, hey, you're playing for your next contract. Bust your ass, play for your next contract, and you can get signed somewhere and maybe have a chance to win a title, win a championship. Now, it is unfortunate because the Meat Lovers weren't a bad team. And right now they're sitting at they're tied for ninth place, 72 points. They're really on that edge. And if you look at it from his perspective, it's like there is probably a 48% chance that we don't make LAN. And then on top of that, after this is over, if I don't make LAN and somebody else goes on that roster, because somebody else was going to fill that spot, 100% somebody else was going to take that spot, then you just missed out on an opportunity to go to LAN and have an opportunity to make some money and have a stable income at the same time. So he did the exact same thing that we were saying. You got to leverage yourself into a good position. And at the end of the day, it's just business. What I will say as a viewer, drama, baby. I want the Meat Lovers in there. I want them to make it so bad just for the drama aspect. You want to see it. We want to see the drama at LAN and see how that plays out. Just like I said earlier with the Rambo thing. Kind of sucks for Rambo, but I don't have to say it, like things happen.
Some people are calling it karma.
Some people, I'm not going to. I'm just shrugging my shoulders. That's all. That is all. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, it's a tough situation, but it's business. Like I said, you got to leverage yourself to get into a good spot. And anybody crying online saying that they wouldn't sign that contract, you're lying to yourself. You'd sign that contract. You 100% would sign that contract. So we'll see how Dark Zero moves going forward, and we'll see what happens. But I did think it was kind of odd because I thought Rambo was playing pretty well. He played from the 16th on, right? They had 18 points, 14 points, and then they had
they played well. They did. Yeah. They played pretty well.
So that's kind of a gamble for Dark Zero, to be honest, because at the very least, you know what you're getting with Rambo, and now you're kind of like hoping that this works out. But apparently they had been trialing other people for like a little bit, and Rambo brought it up on Hal's stream. So very weird situation, but I would expect nothing less from two people who have won back-to-back championships. They're trying to win, bro.
Okay, but here's the difference though. It's weird because Sharky played that like do it all like reps type of role where he's like you're flexible, you're the anchor, you're not the slayer on this team. Whereas Zainu, he is literally the number one, I believe, right now in kills. Him and Zero, which is hilarious because now they're on the same team. But like Zainu's like a fragger. So, and I don't think Jin Burton is the personality. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know Jin that well, so I can't be like, okay, he's not going to sit back and be the non aggro role. But like, is Zainu now taking that, like that role, like where you're more of a support / anchor, or?
I don't think so from what I've seen, because when we saw Rambo playing with DZ, we saw Sharky on the Bang, Rambo on Seer. But when we are watching Zainu play, at least in scrims today, Zainu was playing Bangalore and Zero was on the Seer. So I do think that Zero sees Zainu as having a higher frag potential and wants to see him playing his best. And so, at least for now, it seems that Zero is going to be stepping away from the Bangalore and into that Seer spot. But at least that's what they were doing in scrims today. We'll see what they do moving forward.
Right, but okay. So then now you're switching that up for themselves. Like, I mean, I guess they'll get plenty of time before LAN. So I mean, I'm okay with it. I understand the change now, like, but I feel like it's just wild because like exactly what Wyatt was saying. You're getting with Bo. Like, he's proven at LAN that he can be a dominant force and make the correct play. But like, and that's not to say Zainu can't, because we haven't seen him at LAN. And we obviously have seen online that this kid's a fragger, like to a T. So like, I don't know. Interesting to look at. Interesting time. I do feel bad for Bo because I do think, I mean, Bo is good enough to be on a team that is going to LAN. So, I mean, I guess we can kind of transition out of that Wyatt and into Realm, because
Yeah.
WoW actually got #1 in North America by the time Realm just got done shutting down. They announced this week that that they're done. They're no longer going to be able to continue as a third party ranked service, and I believe they plan on paying out everybody based off of like the last tournament and stuff like that. So that's good to hear. You know, we don't want another, what was it, Sola Fide situation. For those that remember that reference. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little sad. How are y'all feeling about Realm being gone?
I think sometimes there is a when things are going really really bad, sometimes there is a placeholder before you get to the actual thing that you need or desire or what's best for you. And I think this is exactly what we needed. I'm pretty sure rank changes were already in the works during the time that Realm came out. I'm almost positive of that. I think they knew that, but I think what Realm did was shine a light on the fact that the community was really unhappy with all of this. They really were not happy with the way ranked was going, on top of other things in the game. And what it showed, I think, EA and Respawn, if they even care, I'm not sure at this point, but if they care, it showed them that, hey, this community is passionate enough about this game to where they will go out and make a third party thing so that they can enjoy the game that they love, that you guys have made. They want to enjoy it. They really do. Somebody else is going to help them enjoy it. And so, and for them, they probably look at it and they're like, dude, we're losing out on dollar signs here, because these people are going to be able to, you know, make profit off of this. And obviously that isn't what happened, but, you know, there's a lot of other things at play on that. But I think this was a good placeholder. I think it really was. I don't think anybody's going to look unfavorably upon what Realm was meant to do. I think people will look badly upon, like, I had these bad teammates these days, or these people thought they were better than they were. That part they might look sadly on, but the actual like act of it, and somebody coming out of the woodwork and trying to make ranked enjoyable again for high tier players, that's always going to go down in history as one of the better things that came out from the community. I think that, in my opinion. What do you think, E?
Yeah, I think it really just came down to the fact that with how big of a lobby you were going to have, and like in order to allow enough players to get in and play, there was no way to avoid teams being stacked and then other teams feeling like they didn't really have much of a chance. And so it became, like, from a playing experience, not as much fun from what I had heard and seen. I had messed around with it and I had dabbled in it. But for me, it played out so slow, like more traditional towards comp, very much more like, it was very much more like comp than it was like ranked, which is really good for some people. But from a spectator's point of view, I didn't think that it was that good of a viewing experience for the most part, Realm as a whole. And so if the players aren't having fun while they're playing it and it's not inherently more exciting, you're just going to eventually end up with people who aren't having fun, and they're going to end up not playing, which means that the queues are going to take longer, which means that the experience gets worse. And it really just seems like it was a good idea in theory. It just, the game's not at a point where it has enough talent to sustain such a thing, and then also keep players invested in it to keep playing outside of just the potential money that you can win. I do think it's something that was really cool to see, and it definitely was like a band-aid that Apex needed for a lot of players because of how bad ranked has been. And so I'm glad that it was there while it was here. And yeah, we might see it make a return in the future, and maybe not the same way, but I don't think this is the last time we'll see Realm around the Apex parts.
So a good farewell to Realm. Thank you for your service, for what you did for the community in a very dark time. Very, very dark time. Ladies and gents, we are going to get into our predictions right now. We've got a few predictions going into some of the teams that we think are going to make it into land. Now, I don't think we're really going to stray from the top 3, maybe even, honestly, the top 4 or 5. We've got XSET first at 112 points, Optic Gaming second at 106, Furia third at 97, Dark Zero fourth at 89, and Glitch Energy fifth at 84. Now, Glitch Energy is kind of on the edge there, to be honest. You could even say Dark Zero. But after that, we got FaZe, we've got 100 Thieves, TSM, Luminosity, the Meat Lovers, NRG, Wildcard Gaming, Complexity, Lanimals. Those teams, there's a lot of teams in there that can kind of slot in here. So we'll start with Finn. How do you want to do this? Do you want to go from Dark Zero down?
No, so I think Dark Zero, Furia, OG, and XZ are confirmed like 100% in. I think GE is either the last team or like they're like 98% like going to get in. The teams that are like on the potential brink is pretty much from TSM down to Lanimals, which is an 8-point gap between 8th place and 14th place. So realistically, I mean, TSM actually has a higher chance. So it'd really just be from LG, Meat Lovers, NRG. What's WC again? Wildcard. That's a Complexity, and LAN, aka Lanimals. Those are the ones that are like actually fighting for spots, like through just like placing well. And then Oxygen, CLG, Sentinels, E8, Native, and DF all have to like win the regional in order to get in. So I think we go from...
Let's just do the bottom 5. Let's do our bottom 5.
So, well...
Assuming
hold on.
Glitch Energy gets in.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. So,
if they're 98%.
You mean like bottom 6?
Hold
on,
let's
bottom
say top
6,
top 5 is on lock, and then you get to pick like what teams you think are going to finish 6 through 10.
The other 6 teams? Yeah. Okay.
Well, 6 through 11, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And
so
can
bottom
include
6.
an auto qual.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what are going to be 6th through 11th? So I'll go with FaZe 100T, TSM, of course, and then it comes down to like who do I think the last 3 are? Like, I don't think NRG makes it. If they do, then it's...
I'm gonna disagree with that take.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go LG, Lanimals, and Wildcard Gaming.
Yeah, I can't see your LG pick given the circumstances.
I was going to say the same. I'm not sure about LG.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'd love to see LG do well and pop off, I think with the fact that you have a very, very, very locked in and very good lead in Optic, and let's just be honest, Optic is not like a team that is in any way, shape, or form concerned about, oh, we should really focus up on getting placement this weekend so that way we can maybe get first and get that money extra prize money. Dude, it's Optic, bro. They don't need money.
Thousands of dollars. It's worth it. It's worth them to.
I think it's more worth it to them to grief at Luminosity. If you have Luminosity, who you know is going to want to chow you at your POI, or at least mod, and then you want them gone. You do not want them at LAN. And I think that Optic is going to do everything that they can to make sure that LG has a bad day. And if LG has a bad day, there's just no shot that they qual.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
I would say, I mean, I respect you putting them up there because of how good they're, but I just think with the Optic difference, and it's like Optics like XSET's 112, Optics 106, and then the next closest is Furia with 97, and then it's 89, 80. Like nobody is close really to like catching them and moving them out of the top 3, top 5, and so. For me, it's like a no-brainer that they're going to just pick the entire day. At least if I was Optic, I'm taking the entire day, and I am just ruining LG's chances. I'm doing whatever I can to just be a thorn in their side.
Okay, I'm taking back my LG pick.
No, stick with your pick.
No,
It.
No, sorry guys, I'm switching it.
I was pretty convincing. I'm not gonna lie. Like if there was like a FUD, I was just a FUD spreader on the
Bro.
on the LG boys.
It has nothing to do. Like your analysis was great. I'm just saying you picked it. Now, if they do make it in, say they all of a sudden they just wipe Optic, and then they're in. You can't claim this pick. I want you to know that you can't claim.
Okay, fine.
This.
I'll go. I'll take LG then. Fine.
Okay.
I mean, you're not even going to be able to
wild
claim
card
it
and
now
Lanimals.
because White's the only reason that you went back on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna be
in
able to say
purgatory.
all right,
You're in
yeah,
purgatory.
never
You
mind.
lost,
LG doesn't
you
count
lost
then.
any
All right,
option
never
you
mind.
had of choice. You lost
fine,
in both
fine,
options
fine.
now.
I'll take complexity. Fine.
He's in shambles.
You're in pick purgatory right now.
Actually,
you
you
can't
know what?
win.
No, screw that. I low key. Yeah. Okay. All right. If I'm gonna choose my six again, yeah. Phase 100T TSM, super easy. I'll go meat riders, as I always say. Wildcard gaming. Complexity. Is that all of them?
Yeah. You left out the land daddies.
Yeah, so I guess that would be no, hold on. That's 3. Gosh, dude, this is so confusing. No, 3, that's 8. So I'll go meat riders, wild card, and the Lanimals. I'll go Lanimals just because.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of complexity. That's
So I think with my 6, I'm gonna definitely. I think Phase, 100 Thieves, and TSM. I think they'll all be making an appearance. I'm gonna pick NRG, and so that's my 4th, and so I have 2 left, my 5th and 6th, and I'm going to go with Complexity, and then you already know the boys, yours truly, E8 coming off the dub in the regionals win with the auto qual on lock, and that's my teams for who I'm predicting will be making its land.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go 100 Thieves for sure. I'm gonna say TSM for sure. So those are my first 2. I'm gonna go Meat Lovers, NRG, Complexity, and Lanimals. And then E8 wins the day for Enoch.
Let's go. That's my dog. That's my dog.
They win the day. I will say this about E8. If Enoch is correct and they go back to the original comp that they were running, you could see this day really pop off for them. And I don't know if they will win it, but I mean, let's see, 50. They win the day, they get 25.
Well, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to. They're not able to get it. The only way they get it is if they win auto qual.
They probably
the big
have
momentum.
To win, yeah.
Momentum though would go crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, those are going to be mine. Okay, there we go. Those are the picks. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to click the link down below. Get in the Discord. Send in your bottom 6. Top 5 is pretty locked in. Give us your bottom 6. Boys and girls, let's move on into the heart-to-heart and get you on your way. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gents, it is heart-to-heart time. Heart-to-heart time. Boys, anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Hit it.
Mine was set at the beginning of the week. But
Ow!
I went on a date and it went well.
Nice.
Going
Go
on
to
another
dinner?
one, we'll see. It was a brunch
Okay.
and then went to a museum and it was really good.
Oh, you went to a museum. You're classy with it. Nice.
Yeah. She convinced. No, she didn't convince me. It was it was a good decision. I'm glad I did it. But
It's okay. Just say you're a museum guy.
I don't know if I'm a museum guy. I really don't.
Sounds like you're a museum guy.
Anyway, okay. But I don't want to talk about it too much, just because we'll see if it goes.
Yeah, fingers
If it
crossed.
goes. Yeah. But we did go. We're going on a second date, so that's tight. So that's it. That's all my heart on. That's it.
Nice. E.
Yeah. You got it, Wyatt.
Okay.
I'll pick up the caboose.
Enoch's so tired right now, bro. Okay. My heart to heart this week is fucking keep grinding, dude. Just keep going. I'm staring at the clock right now. It is 10:30 p.m. and I have to edit all 3 parts of this podcast before tomorrow because I have a lot of other stuff to do tomorrow. And so I'm going to be staring at this clock all night being like, keep grinding, dude. I'm going to throw that to you guys as well, the listener. Keep grinding, dude. It's about to be intense, whatever you're working on. And you're probably going to be tired the next day. And you're probably going to make terrible decisions with which food you decide to eat and which drinks you decide to drink because you are tired. But just keep grinding, dude. That's where I'm at. Also, the Seattle Kraken won in overtime against my fiance's Dallas Stars. I hate the Kraken. I despise the Kraken. I despise the city of Seattle. I don't actually despise the city of Seattle. I've never been there. But I will say I hate the Kraken right now. Sports are pissing me off this year. They're really getting to me this year. That's my heart to heart. E, do you have one, or are you just tired? Are you out?
No, my heart to heart will be that like the way that you frame things and your perception around them is just so important. And like when I've been going through this really less than desirable experience of having my graphics card die, and then going through, like it was very easy for me to at moments like want to get mad and want to get irritated and want to get upset, but then I could just think about like it's like, okay, well, I could do that, or I could think about how happy I'm going to be when everything's fixed, fine, and good to go. Because like I know that that's eventually going to happen, and when I would focus on that, I would just be able to like shift, and the amount of like negative emotional experience that I had was like significantly cut down to like where it would have been like multiple years ago, and so I'm really excited, and I'm ecstatic because like I'm able to like look at myself and be like, oh, I'm handling this significantly better than I would have. And did I handle it perfect? No. Did I still get upset and irritated and pissed off at sometimes? Oh, 100%. My graphics card died. My 3090. I had to go from a consistent 240 to playing on a very inconsistent 140 to 100, and like I understand all console kids are like, oh, that's better. But like, you don't understand what it's like to go from like just pristine gaming to then a very choppy, unsmooth mess that I'd have to do for like playing for like multiple hours a day. And like, the more I was able to like just be mindful of what I was thinking of and where I was putting my attention, my overall experience was way better. And now I'm hopefully on the other side of all that, got all my problems fixed away. And I'm excited to be able to go back to the nice, clean experience and hopefully enjoy myself a little bit more than I have been. But just like the way that you frame things and the way that you perceive them has a much stronger impact than I ever realized the majority of my life. And so I hope I can put people on to the power of perception.
Beautiful. Yes. We need better perception. We need it. Okay. Ladies and gents, we're gonna end this bad boy.
I'm going
We are all dead right now. Today was one of the
going to
worst
bed.
recording days we've had in a long time, but we're still
Shambles.
here. We're kicking
We were
it.
in shambles.
We're in such shambles. I am gonna be dead.
But
tonight.
we got it done,
But
baby.
we got it done.
We got it done.
Yeah.
Like we started our recording about 46 to like 50 minutes after what our like our deal like plan
Normally
supposed to be
is.
start time is.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was me and my fault.
You're
But we
good. You are
persevered.
good.
And we move on.
We move on. Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to send you on the rest of your week. Thank you guys for tuning in. And next week, we're going to have all of the stuff we need to talk about with season 17. We're going to have patch notes. Finn will be able to chime in on some of the stuff, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome time breaking down the new season for y'all. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, click the link down below for all of the socials. Follow along with all of the other content that we are putting out. We'll catch you guys next week. See you.